Pop culture mirrors the collective, so Swiftie or not, buckle up because things are about to get wild. Karma, past lives, numerology, chakras, all my favorite things.
For generations, women were shamed for trusting themselves, sensing things before they happen, and believing in their own power. No one encouraged them to embrace it until now. Welcome to Trust Yourself.
Sissy is on vacation this week because we value our work-life balance now. So you're getting Heidi unleashed. Don't say you haven't been warned. If you guys heard my ADHD episode a couple weeks ago, you'll know that I can be a little unhinged. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is the second time I'm recording this episode because an episode by myself is a lot harder because I don't have somebody keeping me on track. So I've streamlined it, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode. Also, today happens to be my birthday episode. That's right. If you're listening to this the day it drops, September 4th, it is my 35th birthday. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just imagining everybody clapping for me right now, so don't mind me. Yes, I was born on 9/4, which does equal 13. So naturally, I was just born a Swiftie. While today might feel like a Swiftie heavy episode, don't worry. Even if you're not a Swiftie and you don't know about Easter eggs or know all the lyrics, that is okay. Because we're talking about things that affect all of us. Karma, past lives, numerology, chakras, all my favorite things. But I'm also talking about how Taylor Swift's story mirrors our collective awakening. Side note, if you are a big Swiftie, make sure you follow me on TikTok at Multi-Passionate Mystic, link is in the bio, because I've been spilling all of my psychic Swiftie tea right there. So hop on over and let me see you there. All right, let's dive in. You probably know Taylor Swift as the world's biggest pop star, but she is much more than that. She is a strategist, a storyteller, a brilliant businesswoman, and she's really got her fingers in a lot of pies. But mostly she is a symbol for an entire generation and now expanded beyond the generations. But she is a symbol of somebody who really embodies some major core values: truth, beauty, freedom, and love. What you might not know is that Taylor loves to drop what she calls Easter eggs. So these are little things that her fans just love to hunt for. They're usually hidden clues, whether that's in her lyrics or in her music videos in the form of visuals. Also, she loves numerology, so she always has some sort of number decoding method there as well. She actually can drop these years in advance. And one of them that we're going to get into today is an Easter egg that she dropped 8 years ago. Yes, I am not kidding you guys. 8 years ago. So that's what I mean when I start talking about Easter eggs. Another thing that's really important to Taylor Swift and is really big in the news right now too is that she has just reclaimed her masters. Now, masters are original recordings, which are typically owned by the record label themselves so that they keep getting paid forever. But this is something that Taylor Swift was really passionate about. She really wanted to own her masters because that's her work. That's her life that she poured everything into. And she really didn't like the idea of somebody else owning that. And I agree. I don't think that a record label should own somebody else's work because that is sacred art. That is their creative ideas. It's just so personal to me. It just seems so weird to have somebody else own that. So I stand with Taylor on that one. But really, if we look at the symbolism behind her reclaiming her masters, it's much more than just the surface level idea of, oh, now Taylor owns her masters. No, this is a symbol of reclaiming her voice and reclaiming her worth. And this is kind of the crux of what I think she is doing in the collective awakening too, helping us women reclaim our voice and reclaim our worth through decades of her work. She has been doing this, and we're going to get into it. So just bear with me here because we're going to get deep. So if you guys listened to our last episode, you know that Sissy and I have been really tapping into our psychic abilities, and there have been some crazy things that have come up. So this is something interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. And it's a bit personal, but it's something that I think you guys might enjoy. Last week, I was meditating before bed. And what I really like to do before bed is get in that feeling of what it will feel like to have what I think of as the ultimate, the pinnacle, which to me, that is the feeling of knowing that I am helping people, helping thousands of people through my words, through my work, through connecting with them and giving them these special readings. I've already seen the magic that it's been doing, and I just want to amplify that times 1,000, times 1,000,000. So I let myself feel what that feels like. What does that feel like in my body? How does it resonate in my body when I know that I am so aligned that everything I do in my work just spreads joy and happiness and creativity and lifts everybody else up? So I was in that vibration, and all of a sudden I had this feeling that I had tapped into Taylor Swift's energy. Because if you think about it, she kind of does the same thing. My biggest mission is to get people excited to heal themselves. And truly, that is what Taylor Swift's mission is too, because that is what she is doing, whether she knows it or not. After this episode, I'm pretty sure you're going to get convinced that she is doing that as well. So there I am, tapped into Taylor Swift's energy, and all of a sudden, I had these psychic downloads. It was clear as day. I heard a name. Sarah Bernhardt. And I instantly knew this was Taylor Swift's past life. I knew nothing about Sarah Bernhardt. I had never heard the name before. So I immediately went to Google/ChatGPT and was like, who the F is Sarah Bernhardt? And what I got was pretty amazing. Sarah Bernhardt was born in the late 1800s in Paris, and she was actually the first global superstar. She was a theater actress, and she traveled the globe. And remember, this is at a time when there are no jet planes. This is in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So girl was steam shipping across the oceans and across the country. She went to the United States, Australia, Europe, South America, all over to perform. She was definitely groundbreaking, but she was also dismissed and scrutinized. They called her scandalous because she pushed boundaries. And that is exactly what Taylor Swift has been doing her entire career as well. So the parallels were already paralleling. At the beginning of Sarah's career, she was pretty disrespected, and she fought and clawed her way until she was extremely respected. And she started rewriting industry rules. Again, much like Taylor Swift. So as I was getting all of this information, I had a nudge that was telling me to go watch the movie Moulin Rouge. Yes, I am talking about the movie from 2001 with Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor. If you are a millennial, tell me where you were when you were watching Moulin Rouge. This movie spoke to my soul. And when Ewan McGregor opens his mouth and starts singing, "My Gift is My Song," I think I died. I was 11 years old, and I instantly knew what true love felt like. Yes, I am still in love with Ewan McGregor. If you would like to sing to me at any point in his life, I am here. So naturally, I was like, hell yeah, I'll go watch Moulin Rouge. So I did, and more parallels started showing themselves. If you haven't seen Moulin Rouge, it is set in the early 1900s, actually 1900 to be exact. And it is about this woman named Satine, who is a courtesan, but all she wants to do is become a real actress, a star. And to do that, she has to kind of suppress her voice and suppress her truth at some points. And the movie is also set in Paris, and it talks about the Bohemians, which are basically all of these cast away humans who are creatives, and they are entertainers, and they are writers, and they are poets, and they are performance art people. They are all of the people who embraced creativity, but in a world that was focused on power and control and structure, they didn't have a place there. So they were cast away. They were called the creatures of the underworld, which is literally a line from the movie. But the Bohemian Code was truth, beauty, freedom, and love. Everything that Taylor Swift embodies. The Bohemians also called themselves the children of the revolution. They believed that they were going to change the world through their creative art. They just needed somebody to listen and take them seriously. Okay, so the part of the movie that gave me chills. Satine is in her dressing room getting ready for the show, and she is talking to the woman who is tightening up her corset and just saying, "One day I am going to be a real actress." And she's kind of gazing off to the side, and on her side there is a gold cage with a bird in it, indicative of Satine being trapped, and she is in this gold cage of the Moulin Rouge that she can't get out of. And then she says, "One day I'll be a real actress like Sarah Bernhardt." Full body chills, guys. Like I still get chills when I say that out loud, because I just can't believe that all of those synchronicities kept going and it led me to that moment. And then a lot of things just clicked into place for me. Okay, so this is where I get into some Swiftie stuff, so bear with me. Taylor loves imagery, and in one of her music videos from 2017, Look What You Made Me Do, she is in a bird cage, a gold bird cage, mind you, wearing all orange, and she's swinging in the bird cage. Now, why is this important? Because it is a reminder that she was caged at that point. And orange is very important as well. Now, just remember I'm saying that because we're going to circle back. To me, Taylor Swift was very much like the Bohemians in the movie Moulin Rouge because she is not just creating music, she is leading a creative revolution. She's just got a lot more followers now than the Bohemians did back in the 1900s, which means shit's actually going to get done this time. So as I continue to watch Moulin Rouge, I get more downloads as I'm watching. Satine is dying from tuberculosis. Instantly, I had this connection. Tuberculosis weakens the lungs, and eventually you can drown in your own blood. So to me, that is suppressing your voice and suppressing your truth. That is something that Satine was doing in the movie as well. This is also to me very indicative of the collective feminine throat chakra wound, where we have been silenced for not just years, not just decades, millennia, eras, if you will. And so this to me is the revolution where women are now raising up their voices, which we're seeing right now in the collective. So for Satine, this gold cage was very much representing how she felt like she couldn't get what she wants unless she is doing it through the Moulin Rouge, how she was trapped within herself because she couldn't really speak her truth. I feel like this collective wound we have been trying to heal as women forever. And now it's just becoming so loud, nobody can keep ignoring us anymore. Like I said earlier, pop culture mirrors the collective. And right now what's happening in pop culture is a lot of shifts. Some of the music right now that's big, even besides Taylor Swift, there is a song by Paris Paloma called Labor. I urge you guys to go listen to that because it will give you chills. It is such a female rage, female power filled song that it's impossible to listen to that and not want to scream and shout and raise your voice. I love music like this. And I do think a lot of women are raising up and they are no longer going to be silenced. Now, this kind of leads into why I think Taylor Swift is kind of spearheading this massive collective awakening. So as you know, if you've been listening to our episodes for a while, I do love numerology and I do like to geek out about it. And we did have an episode where we talked about karma and karmic debt. Quick recap, there are 4 different karmic debts. There are only 4, there are no more than that, and they can only be on specific parts of your numerology chart. So it is pretty common for people to have no karmic debts, but then some people do have 1 karmic debt. A few people have 2 karmic debts. Very, very rarely does anybody have 3 karmic debts. You guys, Taylor Swift has all 4 karmic debts. Now, this is a massive soul mission that she knew she was going to come to the earth and struggle, but she was strong enough for it because she has been through so much. So karmic debt is not a punishment. It's basically something that your spirit has collected over lifetimes. Basically, they are life lessons that maybe you just didn't learn fully in a previous lifetime. So you come back with that karmic debt to sort of retake the class or retake the test, if you will. I don't like to think of it as a test. I like to think of it as a class because a test makes me feel like, you pass or you fail, but that's not how it works. At least that's not how I believe it works. I think it's just a class that you keep coming back to and you keep trying to learn it. So Taylor Swift has all 4 karmic debts. Now, let me run through those karmic debts again real quick as a refresher. The first karmic debt is 13-4. This is about work ethic and discipline. I mean, if there is anybody who embodies discipline and work ethic, it's Taylor freaking Swift. She has been at this since she was 16 years old. When she was 11, she went down to Nashville with her mom on spring break with a demo tape of herself singing, going door to door to all the record labels in Nashville, Tennessee, saying, "Hi, I'm Taylor Swift. I'm 11 and I want a record deal." Like who does that? The determination of that girl and the courage of that girl is unmatched. So I feel like this karmic debt kind of shows up with her insane dedication, her insane touring, her writing. But to me, she has very much healed this karmic debt because she has shown that she can be committed, she can be dedicated, and she's not going to take this lifetime lightly. She accepted her massive karmic debt. So I believe that she has healed and transmuted that first karmic debt already. Many, many years ago. And the second one is 14.5, which is the karmic debt that I have, all about finding the balance between freedom and stability. So Taylor kind of shows this with her constant reinvention and her restless energy. She never quite settles, but I do feel like she has found a very good balance between being active and being super creative and getting all these things out, but also having a personal life now, where before, I'm not so sure she had much of a personal life because it was very much under a microscope. But now she's able to kind of separate it and control what she wants out there. Okay, so the third karmic debt is the 16.7 karmic debt. This one is about ego death and public humiliation. Again, she has transmuted this. In 2009, she was at the VMAs because she won an award. Kanye West comes on stage and says, "I'm going to let you finish, but I think Beyonce should have won this award." I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what happened. Talk about public humiliation. The girl was like 18 years old at this point. Maybe she was 20, but still a young woman. And to have this male come up and say, "Yeah, that's cool that you won this, but Beyonce should have won it." It just wasn't cool. Anyways, I could go down a rabbit hole about that. I'm trying to rein it in. I'm channeling my inner sissy right now, guys. So that was her public humiliation. But then she had a massive reinvention as well with her Reputation era. She released Reputation in 2017, but nobody physically saw her for a year leading up to that. And she had no press coverage before she released it. She just dropped it. She had a massive transformation. And this album was symbolized with snakes, which is all about shedding your old skin and transforming. So again, pretty spiritually linked. So the 16.7 karmic debt, I feel that she has healed many times over, but definitely in that Reputation era. And honestly, I feel like she's reinventing herself again now. I think she's going through a transformation now, and I think she might be transitioning into doing something else besides just music. We know that she's been interested in directing movies. I have a conspiracy theory that she had a hand in directing the movie K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, if you're a Swiftie and you're listening, go watch the Golden music video and then watch the Look What You Made Me Do music video. The parallels keep paralleling, you guys. I do not think that Taylor Swift wrote the music. I am very much aware that a Korean woman wrote that, and I very much want to give the credit where it's due. But I also think that it is possible that Taylor maybe had a hand in the creative writing aspect of it. Not the music, but maybe the whole story of itself, or even just the music video. It's just a little too Taylor tinted for me to just brush that one off. But again, we're not going down that rabbit hole right now. Okay, the last karmic debt is the 19.1 karmic debt. So if you have a 19.1 karmic debt, it usually indicates that in a past life, you abused your leadership or you abused your power. Maybe you were a little too frivolous when you were spending your money. And the more research I did on Sarah Bernhardt, I kind of feel like Sarah Bernhardt, that lifetime was the one that incurred this 19.1 karmic debt. So the way that we heal that karmic debt is by reclaiming your independence in a way that is truly aligned with your authentic self. Now, just this year, Taylor Swift announced that she has reclaimed her masters, something she has been working for since the beginning. She has always wanted to buy back her masters, and after the Eras tour, she finally had enough money to do so. She didn't even care how much it cost. She was going to just get her masters one way or another. It is a massive asset for somebody else to sell, even to sell to Taylor Swift, because this was all of her music catalog from her very first album through her 6th album, all the way up until Reputation. That's why I think Reputation is so interesting. It's such a great album, but also Look What You Made Me Do is kind of a nod to like, okay, if you're not going to let me have my records back, if you're not going to let me buy my masters back, I'm just going to re-record all these albums. Look what you made me do. Okay, so we've just walked through all 4 karmic debts, and I've shown you how she has all 4 and how she has now collectively healed all 4 of these. So what does that mean for us? Basically, Taylor is living all of her karmic debts out loud to help us heal ours. I feel it's like karmic debt karaoke. Like Taylor creates it, we sing it, and then we all heal together. But again, pop culture mirrors the collective. And I do feel like there has been a collective awakening. And I do feel like it has been through this process of Taylor's music and other people's music too, right? There's more than just Taylor Swift out there. Anybody that you connect to that feels like it has been healing for you, then that is how you're healing. I think everybody has a quote unquote Taylor Swift in their life where it's somebody that they really look up to, somebody that feels like they have helped them through hard times. And it's really kind of transmuted their whole healing process. Okay, so now I'm going to get a little bit into numerology because I find this fascinating. Taylor Swift just appeared on her boyfriend Travis Kelce's podcast, New Heights, which he and his brother Jason Kelce have been doing for quite some time now. But this was Taylor's first podcast appearance ever. And honestly, it was pure gold. It was 2 hours of Easter egg after Easter egg, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the fact that she said she loves numerology. We've already known this, but now she has literally said the words numerology, which is different from just being like, I like the number 13, I like numbers. It's very different because numerology has meaning. Numerology is the meaning behind numbers. Okay, so let me get into some of this stuff. This is so exciting. I looked back at the Look What You Made Me Do music video, which came out in 2017, which is 8 years ago. 8 is all about karma, karmic balance, power, and reclaiming yourself, which feels kind of exactly like what Taylor is doing right now in her new album, which is called The Life of a Showgirl. Swifties refer to it as TS12 because it is her 12th studio album. That album is about to come out. And another thing about Taylor is she loves to color code things. Each album and each era has a different color palette. So the color palette for TS12, The Life of a Showgirl, is orange and mint green. Very different from anything that she's had ever before. The significance of this comes when you look back at the Look What You Made Me Do music video. Like I mentioned, she is in all orange in a cage. When I posted about this on TikTok and I said Taylor Swift dropped the Easter egg for TS12 8 years ago, I got a little bit of hate. Some people are like, there's no way that she knew she was going to do this 8 years in advance. But then I had this thought. If Taylor Swift loves numerology, she probably loves a lot of spirituality, which made me think of chakras. Your sacral chakra is represented by orange, and the sacral chakra is all about creativity. So if we think symbolically, in 2017, when Taylor Swift was really trying to buy back her masters, right before she gave the big F you and decided to re-record all of her masters, she showed us a visual of her creativity being caged. Taylor in all orange in a gold cage. Do you have chills yet? Because I do. Taylor likes to talk about karma a lot. We've already talked about karma, but what I think it is it's just part of her karmic debt. And I think she is showing us the symbolism of her creativity was being completely caged at that point because she was trapped. She was trapped in that contract. She was trapped with that record label. She eventually did leave that record label, but she still didn't have ownership of her masters. But something that she said in the podcast as well was she has never had so much creative freedom. Again, creativity, orange, sacral chakra, it all lines up. And the fact that her colors are orange and mint green also make me think that it has something to do with her heart chakra and maybe even her throat chakra. Green is the heart chakra, blue is the throat chakra. So she is speaking her truth from the heart and releasing her creative freedom. It all makes sense. I feel like it was very important symbolically too for this album to be coming out 8 years from that 2017 Look What You Made Me Do reputation era. Because again, 8 is all about power, karma, karmic balance, and really infinity and taking everything back, taking ownership of everything. Not only did she reclaim her masters this year, but she is releasing a new album that is supposed to be all about her life behind the curtain. So I think we're going to be getting a lot of interesting aspects and really raw and vulnerable looks behind the scenes of what she was going through maybe this entire time. Okay, and because I'm a little cuckoo, I'm going to bring up K-pop Demon Hunters one more time. Because again, the parallels and numerology. K-pop Demon Hunters was released on June 20th of this year. 6/20. 6, 2 = 8. Coincidence? Very well could just be a coincidence. But again, with the parallels between the Golden music video and Look What You Made Me Do music video, and even just the message behind the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters, which is where 3 women are singers, they band together, they use their voice to seal what is called the Honmoon, which is this invisible shield that protects everybody from the demons. I did make a TikTok about all these wild parallels, and I had somebody comment, so Taylor Swift sealed the Honmoon. And I never felt more seen than I did in that moment, because somebody else acknowledged my crazy thoughts actually might make sense. So if you guys agree with me, please comment in this episode. Let me know all of your Swiftie Easter eggs, your theories, everything. I want to hear about them. Drop them in the comments in this episode so I can just geek out about them later. All right, one more thing on numerology before we wrap up here. With the buzz about this new album coming out, The Life of a Showgirl, she has been doing a lot of countdowns, 3, 2, 1 countdowns to be specific. And she's been Easter egging and dropping this for quite some time now, even through the Eras tour. She announced that the album is going to be dropping on 10/3, which equals 13, obviously her favorite number, but also that 3, I believe, is indicating that we have 2 more things coming. Now, if you ask me, which I know you want my opinion, that you didn't ask for, I think we're getting the album, and I also think we're getting some sort of documentary, and I am thoroughly convinced we are getting a musical. Because not only are the visuals pointing towards musical, the visuals are also very much paralleling Moulin Rouge. And if you didn't know, even when Taylor was a kid, she wanted to be a stage actor. She wanted to be in musicals. She actually auditioned for Broadway musicals when she was a child living in Pennsylvania. She never got accepted, but when Taylor wants something, she freaking gets it one way or another. So I believe she's writing a musical. Whether or not she's going to be starring in this musical, I actually don't think so. I think she's going to let some other new aspiring young actress on Broadway be her in the musical, but I definitely think that we're getting a musical. Okay, so if we go back to the numerology and the countdown, 3, 2, 1, I believe very strongly November 2nd, we're going to get something else, whether that's an announcement or another drop. 11/2 also equals 13, but that's following the 3, 2, 1 countdown. Then 12/1, December 1st. Again, 13, but again, 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you guys think I'm absolutely batshit. Because I've been reeling for the past few weeks, like absolutely going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole. But I've been following my intuitive nudges. I have been listening to what my spirit guides have been telling me. And yes, it's a little weird that it's based on Taylor Swift, but I am a Swiftie, guys. I am a Swiftie through and through since the beginning. So of course, my spirit guides are going to speak to me in a way that I understand, which is through Taylor Swift lore and lyrics and Easter eggs. But I think when we look at the big picture and why this really does matter to us is because pop culture is the collective dream mirror. And Taylor's karmic journey is collective healing. I truly believe that she helped us all transmute our karmic debts. Yes, I do think we all need to do some work on our own as well, but as a collective, I feel this massive shift. I've talked about this before in previous episodes where I do feel this collective awakening, this massive shift where we all are stepping into our power and our truth, our freedom, our beauty and our love. And I also think it's beautiful that Taylor Swift has literally trained us to look out for synchronicities, which we can apply to our own life. We talk about signs and synchronicities and how we know that the universe is speaking to us, but it's all in these little quote unquote Easter eggs. They're Easter eggs for ourselves. Anytime that you look at the clock and it's repeating numbers or mirror numbers, or anytime you see a license plate that says 333, 555, anything like that, and you get this internal spark, this little nudge being like, that's a guide from the universe. That is what we have been trained to now spot, all of these patterns. And if you listen to my ADHD episode, you'll know that my brain is hardwired to spot patterns. So naturally, I became a Swiftie pretty darn early. What I really want you guys to take away from this is if Taylor Swift can heal all 4 massive karmic debts in the public eye, you can alchemize your lessons too. Okay, so if you are watching this on our YouTube, you will notice that I changed clothes. And that is because I did not have my sister here guiding me and reminding me it's time to trust your tarot. So here we go. I've got a new deck that I'm really excited about. It's called the Wild Soul Oracle deck. So that is what I'm using for today. to see what our vibe is. What's our vibe for the week? What do we need to be focusing on? What should we embody? Here we go. Simple. Here we go. All right, we've got 3. First, we've got the hawk, which is all about vision. So it is a beautiful woman with a hawk on her arm, and it's all about that vision. So that psychic vision. Oh, weird, tapping into your psychic abilities, maybe? You guys, we also got the owl, which is wisdom. So lots of bird energy happening here. So this is all about intuition and wisdom, but it's wisdom like inner knowing wisdom. So with the hawk vision and the owl wisdom, I feel like we're going to be getting lots of divine downloads this week, if you haven't already. But very much a good week to be tapping into our intuition. And then we also got the llama, which is all about endurance. So I feel like we're going into this huge collective awakening, as I was talking about. So with the vision and the wisdom of the hawk and the owl, along with the llama, endurance, I feel like this is going to be a long haul. This is going to be a major shift, and a lot of things are going to change, and a lot of structures are going to topple, but it's all for the greater good. And because you guys listen to this episode and you're aware of the collective awakening, it's going to be so much smoother for you. So if you guys have been loving our podcast, which I know you have been because you guys have been pouring in our DMs and on our comments saying how much you really resonate with it, what would really help us out right now is if you could rate and review our show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this. That would really, really help us out, and we would be so appreciative and thankful for you for taking the time to do that. Now, excuse me, I've got to go eat some birthday cake, watch Moulin Rouge for the 47th time, and get ready for tomorrow, which the Chiefs are about to play their first game. So I'm wearing my NFL Taylor's version sweatshirt. If you guys are on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, go see it. I'm repping. Go Travis Kelce. All right. Well, this is going to be super weird doing this by myself, but until next time, it's your move, sis. Make it count. Bye.